All right, so hello everyone and welcome to this week's PTC Talks, where I'm a bit extra honored actually today by having my colleague Pavel Dabrowski here from PTC for a session about accelerate product innovation with a model-based enterprise. But first, just a quick introduction by me. And my name is Torbjörn Peterson, and I'm the Alliance Manager here at PTC in the Nordics, leading these PTC Talks, where we invite customers and partners for some inspiration on digital transformation to see what is possible and how to make things happen. And we are running these webinars on Fridays, same time, with topics around either manufacturing, services, or engineering. You can find all the recordings of the past sessions on the registration site. The agenda for today's session is first a quick overview of PTC by me, and then Paul will run the show where he will touch base on a few challenges, how to address these, and then explain some of the business outcomes. And at the end, we are also having a Q&A session, so please keep your questions to the end, or you may also put them in the chat during the session, and we will pick them up later. Next slide there, right, good. So a little bit short about PTC. PTC is a global software company with over 40 years of innovation with a headquarters in Boston. And we are serving a lot of different kinds of customers worldwide from industries such like automotive, life science, industrial, aerospace and defense, electronics and high tech, and retail and consumer goods. Where PTC offers solutions to help business to design, produce, operate, and maintain their products more efficiently through the entire product lifecycle. Now over to you, Pavel. Show is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon. Hope you're doing well today. Thank you, Torbjörn and Sylvia, for inviting me today. Like already communicated, I will be talking about the value of model-based enterprise. I work as a business developer in our Nordic organization, and in my daily work, I talk to industrial companies across the Nordics, listen to their challenges, the market trends, and also see how they cope with these challenges and whether PTC technologies can be used to help them out. And we see that, MBE is potentially one of those technologies that can help. Just to manage expectations, the presentation today will focus very much on why, not so much on how. So I'll be talking about the value of this approach and some technical aspects of it as well. But if you are interested in a more thorough technical sessions, then this is something which we can book outside of this presentation. But let's start. So over the course of this presentation, I will introduce you briefly to PTC and highlight some of those industry challenges that I'm seeing when I travel around and talk to customers. And to mitigate these challenges, I will discuss this transformative impact of model-based enterprise, or MBE, and explore how these companies, these organizations are leveraging this strategic approach to drive innovation and efficiency. Torbjörn has already introduced PTC, so very, very, very briefly here. We are an industrial software vendor, and for the past 30 years, over 30 years, we've been helping companies and customers to engineer, manufacture, and service some of the most innovative products. So today we're trusted by some of the world's largest enterprises, often leaders in their respective fields, as you can see in this slide. So circling back to those challenges that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, there are many reasons why leading manufacturers invest and have invested and keep investing in digital transformation. Increased complexity, disconnected data, processes, and systems, they can all severely impact revenue, cost, and competitive advantage, and other factors as well. So these issues not only affect product development, but they can also affect quality and customer satisfaction. So looking at these pressures from external market, just a couple of examples. Inefficiencies, for example, they can cost companies as much as 25% of their revenues annually. And quality-related issues, they can add up to 20, or in some cases as much as 40% of those revenues. So it's some serious problems that companies are facing, and they feel that they really need to address these issues because hidden between those inefficiencies, between the silos and disconnected systems, there are some really valuable insights that can help them to drive innovation, optimize operational efficiency, and reduce risk. To succeed with digital transformation, PTC offers a comprehensive set of technologies that all support digital thread throughout the full product lifecycle, from conception through design, manufacturing, service, and finally to remanufacturing or recycling. And we believe that for this approach to be successful, this approach is mostly effective when PLM, product lifecycle management, together with CAD, ALM, and SLM, that's application lifecycle management and service lifecycle management systems, that these four serve as a backbone supported by modern technologies like industrial IoT, connectivity, augmented reality, software as a service, and of course, artificial intelligence. We have to mention artificial intelligence these days. So understanding how these technologies interact with each other, how they relate to each other, how they work better together is really a key to maximizing the investments that companies do in digital transformation. So coming back to the topic of this presentation, it is all about, well, to be successful with digital transformation, you need to have the right approach. And transformation is about tools, yes, but it's not only about the tools. So it's about the right tools, but you also have to have the right change management process, and you also need to align the value of what you're doing to the roles across the enterprise that are crucial and are managing the product lifecycle. So embracing model-based enterprise, or MBE, is an approach that can really maximize the value of investments that you have previously done in optimizing your processes within R&D and engineering, often supported by technologies like CAD and PLM. MBE, it means that basically everyone within the organization, from engineering to manufacturing, supply chain, service, they can collaborate more effectively using the same up-to-date information organized in digital models. These models can be something as simple as a 3D annotated CAD model of a product, but they can also extend to be much more complicated. With MBE approach, you can model all aspects of the enterprise, including people, processes, and other things as well. So with MBE, companies can address many of those challenges that I have mentioned in the beginning of this presentation. I'll give you a few examples here. For example, by adopting model-based approach, companies can virtualize product development, which means that they can validate their designs much earlier in the development process, where design changes are much less costly than towards the end of the process. In that way, they can improve efficiency and reduce cost of product development. Secondly, thanks to all aspects of the product lifecycle being guided by those annotated, detailed models, companies can enhance product quality and enable efficient collaboration between different roles across the enterprise, like I mentioned before. And last but not least, with the digital thread now connecting all the stages of the product lifecycle, MBE enhances traceability, which basically means that companies can quicker react to any kind of problems that arise in their operations, making them more agile. Maybe not all the sorts of problems that arise in the operations, but things that have to do with the products themselves, of course. So all in all, MBE can accelerate product innovation, and it does so through better collaboration without compromising on cost or quality of the products. I already mentioned tools they are very important to the digital transformation, not by themselves, but they are an important part. And of course, in this context, the data that we mentioned, giving people across the enterprise access to the accurate data is very paramount, really, for the success of MBE. And here, one of PTC solutions called Windchill Navigate plays an important role. So with Windchill Navigate, users outside of engineering can quickly access, analyze, and act with accurate product data coming from PLM. And in that way, they can enable faster decisions and increase overall efficiency. So we've been working with Navigate for quite a long time, and now we're investing even more into this solution. And primarily, we see the best opportunities here through the role and task-based apps dedicated to how different people across the enterprise, whether it's sales or purchasing or engineering service roles, how these people can benefit from easily accessible, correct, and clear product information available to them when they need it and in the right context, resulting hopefully in the fact that they can do their tasks as quickly as possible whenever they have to do them without help from other people. So it's about empowering people to do their job more effectively and correctly. There's, like I said, MBE is gaining traction. Quite a few of our customers, as we see globally, have embarked on the journey. I have an example here that I would like to share. So one of these companies is Bosch, a huge German conglomerate. And these guys have, over 75,000 engineers worldwide, over 250 plants. And they have adopted model-based enterprise approach to accelerate product development and efficiency. Those were the two things that were on top of their agenda as they started. And when we talk to them now, we hear a lot of interesting things. These presentations, I believe, are available on our ptc.com too, so you can listen to those presentations from Bosch. But basically, by connecting the different roles, the engineering, manufacturing, supply chain operations, and service teams, and equipping them with the most accurate product data on a holistic PLM, they feel they can now scale product development efficiently and automate a lot of activities that propagate valuable data to the right people across the enterprise. This upscaling of product development, in their case, it has to do with the fact that the products that they offer are very customizable. They need to cater to a lot of customers with a lot of functionalities in a very competitive environment. So that's why the speed of innovation is really crucial for them. But also summarizing, this investment for Bosch was all about value and getting more value out of the investments that they've previously done in CAD and PLM. So it was making sure that they can progress on the digital transformation on the basis of the earlier investments. They also collaborate with PTC a lot on this, so the partnership model here is working very, very well. Like I said, more information about Bosch you can find on ptc.com. So as we're slowly coming towards the end of the presentation, having talked about values and the why, I'd like to leave you with 3 takeaways. First of all, it's innovation. So basically, organizations that adopt model-based information exchange can innovate better And in that way, they can increase their chances of becoming market leaders or remaining market leaders, depending on where they are as a company. Secondly, using model-focused collaboration in product development keeps everyone aligned, keeps everyone on the same page, making the whole organization more effective. And last but not least, the use of reliable tools to validate product development decisions. It gives you the data and insights that you need to ensure that your products consistently deliver in quality and performance, and that your customers are satisfied. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, sounds like something that you're doing or that you aim to achieve within your organization, or where you think that your organization should be, we'd be more than happy at PTC to talk to you, discuss your ideas, our ideas, and see if we can do anything together. We can help you on the journey. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention and open up for some questions if you have any.
Thank you, Pavel, for a good overview. So as I said, let's open up for questions. Please put them in the chat, or we could just let you speak up if you want to, if you raise your hands. I think we have one first question here, and that is regarding what is the actual difference between MBD and MBE?
Oh, okay. Very good question. Like I said, I didn't really go into a lot of details, but there is a lot of MB model-based things around. So yeah, it's good to clarify. MBD it stands for model-based definition, and I think you can see it as a deliverable. So MBD is basically a CAD model which you annotate, and the goal here, so 3D annotated model, and the goal here is that you can communicate with this model across the enterprise. So you don't have to use the 2D drawings. You can use that model as the source of all the geometry information. You can send this model to manufacturing, and they know how to read it. The information can be read through by the machines, and so on and so forth. So MBD is a deliverable. It's basically that model. Once you check in that model into your PLM system, for example, then basically what you're doing is you're enabling model-based enterprise, because model-based enterprise is an approach which has to do with the communication using models. It doesn't have to be 3D models only. It can be other models, like I mentioned in the presentation. But in its simplest form, I guess that could be a good answer. So MBD is a deliverable that has to do with the geometry coming from CAD. MBE is more of a process, as I described, that is used for effective communication within a company.
Thank you, Pavel. Crystal clear. Another one question here. Could you elaborate a little bit on, what are the challenges that organizations normally face when transitioning to a model-based enterprise?
In most of the cases, it's the change management, it's the tools, and the what was the third thing that I mentioned? I think the most important thing is making a decision, and everybody just agreeing on the format. How will we communicate, and that we will communicate in that way or not another, and then adjusting your processes to it. So in that way, the most important challenge does not have to do with the tools, but more with the process and making sure that the processes are implemented. Otherwise, I don't want to say it's not rocket science. It's easy on paper. It's always challenging in reality. But this internal discussion and project are the most challenging, I would say.
Yeah, thanks. One question here also from Phil. I hear a lot about digital twins. Are they another way of achieving a golden thread from design through manufacturing to in-service support?
It depends how you define. I would say no. The way Torbjörn read it, you may be mixing up two things. The digital thread or the golden thread, I assume that's what you mean, is basically a prerequisite for creating a digital twin. Without the digital thread, you cannot really have a meaningful digital twin, because that twin will not know everything about the product. Digital thread makes sure that you know everything about the product, and that thread, it could be a topic of a different presentation, of course, but that's what we work with within our technologies, making sure that the information that resides in different systems can still be easily accessible through the way we communicate between those systems, and that together it can build this full vision of the product, which can then, the full model of the product, which can then be visualized in a digital twin. So I hope I made the right assumptions here and I answered the question.
Yeah, that's good. And we had another question also from Alexander here. How does model-based enterprise integrate with ERP systems? Which ERP systems are best to combine with Windchill other than SAP?
Good question. Short question would be, I don't actually know, but I started thinking like, okay, why don't I know? Is it because I just don't have the information, which is fully possible? But then I'm thinking, the model-based enterprise, as I know, it has to do with the product data. So the collaboration is usually, I'm not sure if it's really affects ERP that much. It could. I just don't have the use cases in my head of where that would be applicable. When it comes to integrations between PLM and ERP, that's of course something really important, and of course what things you do in ERP and in PLM. That's a topic of another presentation again. Yes, we have standard integrations with SAP because that's still market dominant solution that's out of the box. But we can easily integrate with other with other ERP systems. We have an integration platform which can be used for these integrations, or can use our customers' integration platforms. So I wouldn't think that, well, as long as ERP system has an API which can communicate with ours, shouldn't be a problem. But in some cases it would be a project that you have to launch. It wouldn't be out of the box.
Right, thanks. Another quite interesting question here. I mean, how does model-based enterprise contribute to sustainability and environmental goals in manufacturing?
Good question. I think that model-based enterprise, by creating these models of products or product parts or different aspects, it makes sure that the data is available at the right place and in the right format. So in that way, it doesn't have to do with sustainability. It doesn't have to do with the design or anything else. It's just documentation. But once it's available, once you know that this information is there, once you know how to access it because you have your MBE project running, implemented, then you know that this information, this sustainability information, is in those models, and that you can access it in the given way, in the right way, and you can extract the information that you need to design more sustainable products. So I think MBE in itself is about how we communicate, and then to have advantages in sustainability, you need to make sure that the sustainability data like CO2 content or the materials or your suppliers is defined in those models, and that you can do all the things that you have to do based on that information.
Thanks. One question also here from Petri. What tools do PTC provide for product reviews versus Colab, etc.?
Okay. Colab is coming. I've heard this question quite a few times lately. We have ways of doing design reviews with a combination of Creo View, for example, and Windchill, where we have design review objects and things like that. We have one of the big advantages or like very nice things I see with Colab is the visual aspect of what they do. But then I'm not really sure about like the communication, how they can version handle all the data and so on and so forth. So I don't know how they do things. What I can say is that, yeah, to answer your question, it is a combination of Creo View and Windchill. We have an upcoming version of Creo View coming, I believe, in December or beginning of next year, where we are adding additional functionalities that can potentially benefit the design review as well. So there's more coming.
All right, thanks. That sounds good. Another question also here from Ravi. How does model-based enterprise work with supplier collaboration?
Supplier collaboration, I think this is definitely, a supplier is one of the roles that can benefit from MBE. Like I said, it is about collaboration between the different enterprise roles, but it doesn't have to stop at the enterprise. It can also be outside of the enterprise. So as long as your suppliers have access to your systems, and there are many ways to grant them that access in a secure way, they can reap the same benefits as you do internally. Have access to the latest designs, collaborate on designs. Contribute to faster development, whatnot. Depends what kind of suppliers we're talking about.
All right, thanks. One other quite interesting question here. How do I actually get started by implementing a model-based enterprise method, and who should get involved in these kind of products?
I think there's no one answer here, but I would say based on our experience within PTC, and quite possibly it has to do with the fact that we are a CAD company to begin with 30 years ago. I think that the most examples that we see where companies start with is actually CAD. So that's why I mentioned those CAD annotated models before, because that's probably the easiest way to start and like kind of most natural. That's not to say that transition from drawings to MBD is an easy one. A lot of companies are somehow resisting it, but I think compared to all the other ones, that's probably an area where it's easiest to start.
Right, thanks. I think this might be the last question here. What is the typical time to value by implementing a model-based enterprise method?
I don't know. I would need to have a look. It's different for different companies, so it's difficult to comment, and it also depends on how you do it and what is the value. If, for example, like I mentioned with MBD, you start creating MBDs with the goal of eliminating drawings, then you also have to make sure that those models are understood by, for example, by your CNC machines and stuff like that. So I don't know. I could guess a year, 6 months, but that's something we would need to have a look at, knowing a little bit more about your company, what you want to achieve.
Fantastic. Thanks for all the good answers and the good questions here, during the Q&A. So time is unfortunately running out. So many thanks, everyone for joining this session here. And of course, a very special thanks, to you, Pavel, for sharing a lot of interesting stuff here. So with that, I hope to see you back at the next PTC Talks. If you flip to the next slide here, Pavel. And that is going to be a session around, unlocking the future of PLM with the Windchill 13. So with that, I hope you a fantastic, new upcoming weekend, and looking forward to see you then. And it's going to be Transition Technologies presenting, the session next week. So hope to see you there. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.